Hi everybody, Jimmy Z here with a YouTube special on Friday, February 3rd, 2012. This morning I got up with the news of Obama's fake decrease in unemployment. Add to that all the nonsense about Romney being the front-runner for the GOP nomination. The teachers, now plural, arrested in Los Angeles for sexual abuse of very little kids. Obama's count 'em, four treaties he's prepared to sign. And Limbaugh announcing this morning a big cave from Susan G. Komen for the cure in their stand against Planned Parenthood, and I was fit to be tied. My brain locked up, my mouth dropped open, and that was it. I was not able to do a show today. I wrote a short piece about this on Facebook, one paragraph this morning, but my thoughts had not yet completely gelled. The fact is, there are so many things happening in our country all at once that need to be addressed. I finally sat down and wrote this about Komen and conservatism in general on the Jimmy Z Show blog. And by the way, before I read this, Komen said they were going to do something in terms of either limiting, cutting back, or denying funding to Planned Parenthood. Conservatives celebrated, liberals went nuts, and the next morning the news was all over the radio and television that Komen had not backed off. And in a statement, they said they were going to continue to fund Planned Parenthood. I must have a dozen articles about this in my show notes. And now some pro-life organizations are reporting that they didn't really back off on the defunding of Planned Parenthood. But when you look over the statements from Susan G. Komen for the cure, it sounds like they are trying to please everyone now. And they're telling Planned Parenthood, yes, you're going to get your funding. And they're telling pro-life groups, no, we didn't back off. We're still not going to fund Planned Parenthood. I have to tell you that either, let's see, how did I put this on Facebook? Either it is a reversal, or it was never anything to be celebrated by pro-life groups in the first place. So, anyway, here's what I wrote about conservatism this morning. What really makes me furious about Susan G. Komen for the cure caving in and reinstating their grant money to Planned Parenthood is not simply the abortion issue. Their decision to defund Planned Parenthood was not going to end abortion one way or the other. Abortions would continue with or without the Komen money. But this issue is so much bigger than that. First, if you have a charity organization and you decide to defund Planned Parenthood, then do that. By the way, Planned Parenthood does not do mammograms, to my understanding. Or, if you want to double or triple your funding for Planned Parenthood, do that. But don't make an announcement of your intent to defund Planned Parenthood, or the Right to Life organization, or the AS-freaking-PCA, and then cave under pressure in less than 24 hours. That's just stupid and weak. But secondly, and this is more important, regardless of the issue or the organization, the left in this country is always very gung-ho and focused and activist. Always. No one ever has to motivate the left. They are on it. They get the job done immediately. Huge pressure, relentless pressure until the offending organization capitulates. And this illustrates well the right's complete lack of resolve to get the job done. When the political left is offended, and abortion is the issue for them. By the way, Rush Limbaugh calls abortion the holy sacrament for liberals, and he's 100% correct. When the political left is offended, they go to work. When the political right is offended, they go to blogs or Facebook, and they pass along articles and voice outrage. They sigh, they type "Woe to America" as they commiserate over the bad news. But by and large, we really don't do anything. A good example of this is what's going on with the Girl Scouts. The Girl Scouts, for some time now, have been indoctrinating girls with leftist thinking, openness to lesbianism, socialist and Marxist role models, information on Planned Parenthood, and all kinds of liberal philosophies that run against much of what the parents of girls and Girl Scouts believe. So when it's time to buy Girl Scout cookies, the answer is, if you don't agree with this agenda of theirs, is no, I don't buy Girl Scout cookies, and this is why. Now, you don't say this to an 8-year-old girl selling Girl Scout cookies. You talk to her parents. But conservatives capitulate. Oh, but I love those cookies. So we see that the chance to affect the organization for good is not as important as eating cookies. Conservatives have been this way for a long time. Conservatives don't have the focus and the desire to get things done. What do you think liberals would do if the Girl Scouts were teaching right-to-life philosophies and that Planned Parenthood was bad and abortion was evil? The left would be all over the Girl Scouts and working to kill the market for Girl Scout cookies. This attitude is very evident in the Tea Party. Members and the Tea Party organizations fought against creating a national organization. Our power is in the fact that we are not nationally organized, was the rallying cry. Excuse me, but...
What?
Not being organized is a better way to get things done? Since when? What major group or company or organization has accomplished great things by not being organized? Anyone? Ever? Of course not. So the Tea Party stuck with being not organized, and now, on a national level, it is by and large dead. Without a national organization, which I conceived as being not unlike the Boy Scouts, which has basic bylaws and rules for operation nationally, but is run by the local troop leaders in their own way and on their own schedules, but without being a national organization, the Tea Party has been totally unable to put any pressure on members of Congress. All this did is to allow the Tea Party elected representatives in the House to cave. The biggest issues for the Tea Party are spending, government growth, and taxation. Last summer in July, you'll remember, the big debate was over President Obama's demand for a debt ceiling hike of over $2 trillion. This should have been a high point for the Tea Party. Alan West, the biggest name, biggest talking Tea Party elected representative, had his chance to stand up and stand against this. It would require guts, because conservatives were told that if the Republicans fight Obama on this issue, he would use the bully pulpit and the media to crush the Republicans. And here's a sidebar. When don't liberals have the media helping them? If that is the rationale for going along with what Democrats want, we can never stand up and say, this is wrong. We end up responding like people in a neighborhood who allow gangs to take over because we don't want to make them mad when we stand up and say, enough. Mr. West, again, the biggest named Tea Party elected member of the House, caved. Speaker John Boehner bellowed his now famous command, get your asses in line, and Mr. West did. He went on national TV on Fox News and said that this was the best deal we could get. His capitulation made it impossible for new members of the House, all Tea Party elected as well, but lesser known, to vote against it. So they supported it in spite of the fact that Representative Michelle Bachmann, then running for president, correctly said that this was a bad deal. Ms. Bachmann, who did stand her ground and voted against the debt deal, predicted that the U.S. credit rating would be downgraded, and it was. Mr. Obama got the huge increase in the debt ceiling that he wanted, and he sped up his spending. From the month of August 2011 to January 2012, the national debt increased $500 billion, $500 billion. That's $100 billion a month. Unheard of. Also, thanks to Alan West and the Tea Party elected members of the House, we got the Super Committee, which was going to arrange a great method of spending cuts that would offset the new debt ceiling that Obama demanded. The Super Committee floundered and failed, again as predicted by Ms. Bachmann. Mr. West played a major role in all of this because he was the best-known member of the Tea Party contingent in D.C., and I believe that he caved because there was no real or effective Tea Party presence in Washington to force him to do the right thing. This also happened again just last December when the president and the media and the establishment GOP told us that Republicans who were standing against a 2-month extension of the payroll tax cut were idiots, and that Mr. Obama and the Democrats who wanted the 2-month extension were heroes. Never mind that the Republicans in the House were pushing to approve the full year of the same tax cut. No, they were idiots. Obama, the hero, don't you know, wanted and eventually got the 2-month extension. Again, this because the GOP was afraid of the Obama Democrats media cabal. Another sidebar, now we know what this was about, of course, as Mr. Obama has said in the State of the Union and at every campaign stop since, that he wants this 2-month extension to be extended for the full year. And of course he gets enthusiastic cheering and applause. He would not be able to say this if the Republicans had pushed for a full year back in December. And in fact, liberals are now saying on TV and radio that Republicans fought against the tax cut extension. You see what happens when you play the Democrats' game? This ineffective leadership, I think, comes from an ineffective conservative movement in Washington, D.C. The fact is, many conservatives were disappointed and depressed when, after 18 months of very hard work, successfully getting a lot of Tea Party picks elected to Congress in the 2010 elections, all of their dreams did not come true. Why, Obama is still in the White House. Harry Reid still leads the Democrats in the Senate. Nothing is changing. Liberalism still has the upper hand. We failed. America is doomed, was the general response I saw from many conservatives on Facebook. I have explained for years now that liberals have been working on their socialist agenda for America for over 60 years. They have great patience. We don't. They see the long road. We see one election. They work tirelessly. We get weary. They used the 2008 election to nominate and elect the most left-wing socialist Marxist the country has ever seen. We are trying very hard to nominate an empty-suit, moderate-left Republican who stands a very good chance of losing in 2012. We conservatives don't focus. We don't keep pushing ahead. It's like we can't wait to get back to boating on the weekend and forgetting all this political crap. Liberals never stop thinking about politics. So the bottom line is, America goes to whichever side wants it bad enough to fight for it and never stop fighting for it. And clearly, the left is willing to do whatever they have to make this nation a socialist utopia of higher and higher taxes, more and more government employees and union workers, with less and less liberty for its people. Friends, conservatives, and patriots, what the f*** are we doing? I'm Jimmy Z, and I welcome your comments. Have a great weekend, everybody.
The Jimmy Z Show.